Let there be peace and love. Welcome to Satsang. One thing is to realize the self. Another also is, having realized the self, one still has a liking to play in the movie. The force of habits. So it is utmost essential to be reminded by oneself to dedicate some time to have a pause. Because this movie has a particular quality, it is infinite. Looks like. It has a endless, continuous drama. So it can be cut off by simply not following the movements of the mind. Because then what's left? What's left when one doesn't hook at the mind? What is left is what one cannot lose or throw away. So it's what one cannot grasp by understanding, feeling, sensing. And here is the goal of all humankind, after all, to be devoid of a surge, not to feel the compulsion to call oneself as something or as a seeker. And it's a big relief, very big relief. I know that it is the siesta time. The body has to change a bit, to shift. It's a natural quietness of the nap. But naps end. If something is not understood about this Advaita, means ourselves, always welcome. To ask. Why it is so important to have a time of nap? Why? Why one gets somehow more peaceful and more happy? Because the mind is sleepy. The mind doesn't trouble much. It has still a movement, sleepiness, but it's not agitated. And curiously one feels all right. Yeah.
There are different ways of looking with different kinds of efficiency.
Efficiency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I devote myself to that and I look all the time, but it's like Kameraeinstellung, like different angles, you know, because sometimes I catch myself that I in the movie when I try to not hook, and there's infinite things to not to hook, and then some agitation comes and some frustration comes, and I don't know why. Sometimes it has to be like this. This mistake has to happen. Sometimes, okay, no, that cannot be it, because I will always be agitated when I look like this. So somehow the looking changes to the emptiness itself, and I feel that's a good place to stay put. So that what you said really. Yeah, I don't.
But you see, emptiness itself. How do you know emptiness itself? What do you know about it?
It is not empty in a way that empty sounds like it's because it's me. So it is an emptiness that somehow can be observed in a strange way and is so there in a way, but it's sometimes the looking changes to the movie, and the movie is it's not interesting, and then but it's just so much there. But the more you look, it's not there. It's not there.
Okay, it's not there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not there, so no problem.
No problem at all. Yes. And also, of course, it's also observed that that the movie is just, it's not random. It's that it gets slower, but the things that come, like, whoop, they're just there. Somehow there must be some, some thoughts, they arise, and you catch them before they have even come, and somehow you just turn and say no. And some thoughts, they are just right there. You have not even caught them, and then I look, and I see that it must be like a field of identity that I have found that is still lingering. So I do the inquiry on that. Like, for example, who's the judgmental one, or so. Like, really this.
And what is your answer?
And then I look and I keep the question. So it's for me more.
But then, if you keep the question, you cannot ask a question. If you keep the question, then you make a vicious circle. You keep the one who asks a question, who questions I. You cannot keep the question. You have to ask it once. Like you throw an arrow. You see, you have to give up, release at some point.
Yes.
So you cannot keep the arrow. Otherwise, okay, it's a funny movie, but you have to release the arrow.
Yes.
So there is nobody to keep that question.
Okay.
When you ask that question, and I guess it's who am I? Who am I in fact? Because you can always reply I, isn't it? Yeah. Who is judgmental? Who is this? Who is that? I. You cannot go further than I. But then, who am I? That is the arrow to be released.
Yes. I more ask like on special, like when something, like for example some episode happens that triggers you, like some thoughts have come around and the ego is there, and there's some justification for something.
Yeah, but this is the movie.
Yes,
this is the movie.
And then I ask precisely, because I see that this thing, for example, when you justify yourself, it brings a lot of movement. So I asked, who is the one who's justifying? So I use it somehow. This is my technique, a little bit like I give it a little bit like characters, and then it helps me to see their side, the identity.
Yeah, but who is that identity? What is it? What is it? You see, this question, who am I, is not to define the I as a character.
No.
It is to throw you prior the rising I.
Yes.
Okay. So the emphasis has to be there. You give too much emphasis to what's going on.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So that you can shorten now. Because it's endless, it's true.
Yes.
Once you find it's endless, you're right. So it's time to ask, The next question, very nice. What is this I? Who am I that I pronounce all the time? All the universe pronounces I. Amazing, huh? What is it? And the answer is when you don't catch any movement of your mind at that time. So that you are, and all the rest is a movie. You see, I also see that to ask this, after all, ultimate question, which can happen in a different shape, one has to really see what is the mind. It has to be an authority in yourself, even if it is to somebody, that whatever appears, it is the mind. It has a temporal existence. So when you ask this question, it's because you are no more interested to go into the mind, knowing that whatever it brings, whatever it presents you, will be temporal, the same nature. And finally, you realize that what's left, you always have been. But you were busy with your mind before. So when the mind comes back, it may come back with intensity and all that. Still, once for all, you know it's the mind. It's the movie which continues or stops. So that movie will be the same. from here, will you speak the same? You cannot apply the same laws to objective questions and to subjective questions. You see, to objective questions, if you ask who sees this or that, or experiences this or that, whatever, there is no way, you have to reply I. But to this subjective question, and then it's a vicious circle, that is the samsara. You always go back and you don't know how to have an exit. But with this subjective question, the answer is where it ends. So you cannot ask, but who is asking, who am I? Because then again you make it the samsaric. It is a very, very special question. You cannot go into any other movement of the mind who is asking, but who is asking, who am I? Because then you immediately jump into a movement of the mind. This one is to make you realize that you are prior to the mind. So you are freed from the vicious circle of the mind.
Ganga?
Yeah.
At the moment I have a headache of the mind because it's working so strong. And the last weeks when I were here, it was really very I was very relaxed and yeah, a lot of things I left or released.
Yeah.
And I was really sometimes very quiet, and I could also tell, okay, now I don't listen to you, to the mind, and so, and I was still. And 2 days ago I had now 2 telephone conferences with my business, and I'm still in the burnout process and also selling the company process, and the new buyer of the company, he was away because he has nothing.
Well, I will not go into details. But,
yeah. But what I wanted to say is just that the employees were lost, and then
what were lost?
my employees,
Yeah,
they
okay,
were
okay.
lost. And then I saw that I really fall deeply in the eye again,
Yeah.
like in a pressing horse, and said, okay, I promise you now I move forward quickly. And since then it's really like a very motor who
But
started.
you are on the horse.
Yes, I mean,
Yes.
yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you know you are on the horse and you know it's only for a short ride.
Yes.
Okay, then it's okay.
Then it's okay.
Then it's okay. And you come to satsang still.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, because the horse needs to drink also.
And to sleep, but the horse cannot sleep. That's the problem. If I like
No, the Mongol, they could sleep on the horse. It's normal, you have to face some circumstances, you see.
Yes.
So you respond to circumstances.
Yes.
But and it is eating you away, of course, it's agitation. But you are you have a life of satsang. So you know what happens. And you know it. I will not give that years to be solved. Even if it is not solved, then I will see then. You see, you just allow yourself to face that, but, you know, with the end of it.
Yes, I see.
Okay. What to do? I mean, it is the body-mind has its span of movement.
Yeah, I see it now clearly. Thank you.
Perfect. And remember that when you are in satsang, you brought the question, very good, but now you are free from the question and you are in satsang. Freed from all that. That is the luck now, to have satsang in the movement, to have some cat.
Ganga.
Yeah.
I just remembered, like some time ago,
Yeah.
that I had a thought that
Sometimes. 10 years ago, I had a thought. Again. It will come to this. Wait, we are on the way. We are in advance. Listen.
I had a particular thought.
Yeah.
And this thought was no matter what comes, like if it's blissful, if it's very uncomfortable, whatever, I don't pay any attention to it anymore. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
In terms of liberation.
Yeah.
And now I find myself in this like really like flat state.
Yeah.
Like
Very
without
flat. Uncomfortable.
not uncomfortable, but without any depth. Very flat. Like I feel like I'm in the beginning or something like this again.
Very boring.
Yeah. On the other side, I know this has actually nothing to do with.
It's up to you now to stay there or not. I understand. once you have cut the branches of the trunk, the branches and the thoughts and all that, and you are but very, not I alone as you think, because he's flat, he's bored, and very shallow experiences that nobody likes to go in. Yeah? Yeah, but you agree that still some dress is there to I.
Sure, yes.
So why did you do all this to stop to this dress? So you can also remove that dress, as you did for the rest, no?
Yes.
But to remove that dress, you have to go to the source of I. It's urgent, otherwise you will have a very long, boring, flat life. Which I don't wish you, because you didn't come for that. You came for liberation, to be liberated of the tyranny that I am someone before, once upon a time, with an exciting life, and now, in this way, to be liberated, this I has a flat life. But I has not been touched. So now it's urgent to free yourself, to liberate yourself from the tyranny, I repeat, of this concept. I is real, and so I have a real flat life. Does I look if I is real? If this I can disappear at any time, is it real?
No.
So don't bring I here.
since a long time. I feel in my life like it's like I'm dreaming, or everything feels unreal, and I feel like something's just not as I was used to feel, like this is me and this is my life.
Yeah.
And it feels unreal, but in a very uncomfortable way that it makes me afraid that am I missing something, or what is it? And it keeps coming back, this feeling or perception or
And do you feel it's real, that itself?
No.
Okay.
It feels, well, the unreal feeling feels real.
That's what I asked. You feel that it's on the way to liberation, you have to feel that way, and you do experience it now?
Maybe this is my question.
Yeah, I will reply to you. Yes, I think it must be your question. That's why it comes back. If there was no belief that there is a sign that it's something towards reality, it would not come back. It would be an experience possible, because we can experience everything. But it has no more meaning than any other movie. You see. Because this thing of unreal, it's more a way to teach. It is not even what's real. I don't know if I'm very clear. Yes, I am. So, when it comes to you, when it is there, you just discard it. You don't allow it to invade you. It's a movement of the mind, a movement of an experience. It's part of this samsaric play. But it can be the occasion to ask, who maintains that? And let me go back from where I came, rather than to stay in a samsara which looks real or in a samsara which looks unreal. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, and tell me in 2-3 days if it comes back.
Okay.
For the body-mind, you see, this world is real. With realization, you see, I am not this body, I am not this mind. It's unreal by nature, whatever goes on changing. And yet there is no sense of, no question of separation or illusion, or not like that. That does disappear from the mind.
Thank you.
Yes, 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 yes. Mr. Flat. Is it still still what? Oh, you would say that. Okay, accurate. To call you Mr. Flat is still accurate?
No.
Ah, sorry.
So,
Very good. Yes, I wanted to ask you, who are you?
Just to pass you satsang, the mind is really sabotaging when I'm here. It's a bit, and it's okay. But my question is that
It's okay to be sabotaged?
no, because I know I know the trick of it, but it's
Okay.
my question was that you said before how you have to know your mind, you have to know what it is.
Mm.
You mentioned something like that, and usually what happens is, usually I notice when I'm in a thought,
Yeah,
only already when I'm in it.
yeah. Doesn't
So
matter
my
about
question
that.
is it possible to see that movement
At the very origin?
at the very origin? Because
No, at the origin there is no thought.
yeah.
It's always too late.
It's always
Yeah, it's always too late.
Like I wonder if there is this movement is
No,
so
no, no,
subtle
no.
that is it possible
It's
to?
even too late. Once you are in time, you see past is there and future, and so it's always late.
Because even when there is a touch or glimpse of the self, the next moment is like the mind objectifies that too. It's like there
Yeah,
is
but you
really
don't
a
need to
subtle
go
touch.
there. It will. The mind will continue to speak.
It's like
It
it
will
jumps
let-
on it. This is it. It's like
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Okay, now you know. Okay, you are in a glimpse. Yeah, all in a glimpse. The mind. This is it. No problem. If you are not, if you didn't make you move from the self. But no, this is it. Wah, hurrah, I want it. I am in the end of my search. Yeah, and so on. This is a difference, no? You cannot stop the mind not to comment, especially at that time, because imagine he was searching for so long. He has to express something. You cannot, this poor mind has to express something. Huh? But understand that it's something else to let it appear as it appears, to let it go. It's a thought. I am not going to be fooled by even that one, than to be fooled by it, and then you are in total movement of the mind again. And nothing happened if you just let it pass and go. It's very different. Hmm?
yeah. So I was just wondering if there is a way of seeing that very subtle movement for someone. I don't see it. I'm caught in it, and you say it's too late. Because usually the if I can talk of a mini process, it's even if a thought comes, there is a reminder of, I hear your voice, and I said it the other day to Sylvia, that this is like a refuge for me
Yeah.
to hear I am that.
Yeah.
And when this refuge appears,
Yeah,
that
okay.
remembering comes,
Yeah,
then it's like a zooming out, and it's all, and I see the whole thing fall away.
yeah.
So this is usually, I don't know, a thought.
But
caught-
you know, it will be
disappear.
a kind of processes for a while. Do it, do it, do it. It will disappear by itself. Because it's the same as you keep quiet, keep quiet, keep quiet. Go back to that direction. And then one day, all this disappears. Which other way? There is no other way. Or take it. Doesn't matter if the mind comes, I'm the self. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I feel intensely something, even in the body or something. I'm the self. This concerns the body-mind, you see. That wisdom has to be, the print of that wisdom has to be so much unshakable in comparison with the prints of the old habits. That's why it is advised to, even when you are freed, to come for a while, to keep contact with satsang, to keep in yourself or even alive. Even if you see in the traditions, you see, it was like this. And then after whatever circumstances brings you still all your life in the same circumstance or somewhere else, it's not up to your control anyway. So
It seems like eventually every thought, every movement is a reminder of that.
oh, you're lucky.
This is, I cannot say this is the lived experience in each moment, but
Yeah.
it seems like each movement can be an invitation back or reminder.
You are lucky. It is not the experience of everybody. But you see, if every thought is a reminder of that, it means they need a seeker for that. They need someone who wants to be free. So why do you keep that? You are freedom itself. When I is not there, Okay. But maybe you can be open to this. Okay.
Can you say a little more? Can you repeat this? Is it possible?
Probably it's possible.
Thank you.
In yourself, you see, there is. I'm sorry to say because it's too banalized, but I would still say there is nobody there to be preoccupied or to observe the thoughts, remind you, and so on. You know, that's what I say. If you still see that and see it's important or what a luck it's this way, it means there is still someone. Of course, not a gross one as before, but there is still someone. Oh, why do you keep it? And that's why you spoke of glimpse also. Otherwise, a glimpse, it happens to someone also. Okay.
Very much clear on that, yes.
Okay, but great. But then don't do as if you are free and then those things come. There's still someone. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is an echo, like the you're pointing I am that is, I think it still serves that kind of
maybe, but in reality there is no mirror. There is no cliff to ever echo. Okay.
say that the worm in the apple does the work.
Mm-hmm.
So my effort, it's an effort, but it's a pleasant effort, is again to get away from the thoughts again and again. And just
No, it is to see, oh, it's a thought. You cannot push it. You cannot push a thought. It's just a thought. Otherwise you do too much movement, you see. Because you are yourself. You are yourself. It has been a misunderstanding, a step too much to locate yourself somewhere else. So just see what is the mind, and I call mind, you know what, everything the senses of the mind can catch. But just do that in a moment where you have this fire for freedom. You cannot do that simply and then what? It's because you really want to free yourself. Hmm? Then
I just was asking my question, do I really want to free myself from energy?
yes, great. Yes. So at those moments, you just watch. Even if it is, you see only mind, it's mind. Already telling that means I'm not the mind.
Okay.
Hmm? And at some point, when you have a moment of free space, you just keep quiet. You are left with what allows a free space or thoughts. You are that. Everybody is that. There is only that. It's only the preoccupations of the mind which one keeps. That is the trouble. Huh? There is nothing wrong with I. Even the sentence I am that, I is there, isn't it? I is the self. I am that. The problem is ideas. I am born, I am this, I am that, I am this. The problem is that it is not. And when you see I disappears, one means an attribute disappears. Maybe the basic one, I'm a human being or I am born, whatever. I is the self. I am that. I is that. And we pronounce it all the time. But we glue an attribute to it. So maybe it's easier to see things like that. You wake up, you say I. Okay, I. If you leave I alone and then, who knows? I wake up and this, but generally it's so fast, as you said, in time. But I sleep, I dream, I wake up, I am that, I. If we were careless about the attributes, then what? And I, of course, is the expression of something which is unnameable,